Megan and Julia had due dates 11 days apart. Megan worked marketing in Columbus, Ohio, salaried, full benefits, the kind of job people describe as good. Julia worked logistics outside Leipzig, Germany, similar salary, similar title. Both women went into labor within days of each other. Both came home from the hospital with a newborn, an empty calendar where their old routine used to be, and a very different number waiting for them. Megan's number was 0, not because her company was cruel, because in the United States, there is no federal law requiring anyone to pay you a single dollar while you're home with a new baby. Julia's number was roughly 2/3 of her old paycheck, arriving automatically every month for over a year. Same job title, same salary, completely different country. What that gap is actually worth in real numbers and why it exists is what we're breaking down today. Hi, I'm Justin, and I've lived in Germany for over 12 years. This is the price of Germany, where we take the costs nobody puts on a postcard and put real numbers next to them. Not tourist brochure guesses, just what things actually cost on both sides of the Atlantic. If that's useful to you, this is a good time to hit subscribe, because we do this every week. The popular version of this story is that Germany just pays parents to stay home, like some kind of government gift. That's not quite right, and getting it wrong makes it easy to dismiss. What Germany actually built is a wage replacement insurance program called Parental allowance. It's not a flat handout, it's tied directly to what you were earning before the baby arrived, with real income caps, real paperwork, and real rules about who's required to take how much time. And there's a legitimate counter-argument here worth taking seriously. Some economists argue long mandated leave makes companies hesitant to hire and promote women of childbearing age, since the role might sit vacant or need backfilling for over a year. Critics also note the system is funded through payroll contributions everyone pays into, kids or not, so childless workers are effectively subsidizing parents. Real trade-offs, not nothing. So let's start with the mechanics, because they matter. The base benefit replaces 65 to 67% of your average net income from the year before the birth, with the percentage sliding higher for lower earners. For the lowest incomes, it can climb as high as 100%. There's a floor and a ceiling. Right now, the minimum payment is 300 euros a month, even if you weren't working before, and the maximum caps out at 1,800 euros a month, no matter how high your old salary was. Take someone netting around 1,900 euros a month before the baby, a pretty ordinary salary here, and they'd land around 1,200 euros a month, automatically. No employer negotiation, no burning through sick days, no fighting HR. How long does that actually run? The base benefit covers 12 months total between both parents. But here's the part people usually miss. 2 of those months are reserved specifically for the second parent, and if that parent doesn't take them, the family simply loses them. They don't transfer. That's how you get to 14 months when both parents participate. 12 months split however the couple wants. Plus 2 use it or lose it partner months that exist specifically to pull fathers and partners into early childcare instead of leaving it all to mom. And if a full paycheck-shaped payout for a year isn't the shape your family needs, a second version of the benefit stretches the same total money over roughly twice as many months at half the monthly rate, useful for easing back into part-time work instead of going from full pay to 0 overnight. Couples who both work part-time at the same time can also unlock 4 extra months of that stretched benefit as a bonus. It's a genuinely flexible system once you're inside it. There's also a ceiling on who qualifies at all. If your household's taxable income was above 175,000 euros the year before the birth, you're locked out of parental allowance entirely. Full stop. That cap used to be much higher, 300,000 euros for couples, before 2 rounds of cuts in 2024 and 2025 brought it down to where it sits today. And it's one of the few pieces of the system that consistently draws criticism from higher earners. Now flip to the United States, because this is where the comparison gets stark. There is no federal law, none, guaranteeing a single day of paid leave for a new parent in the private sector. The only federal protection most people have heard of is the Family and Medical Leave Act, and it doesn't pay you anything. It guarantees 12 weeks of unpaid, job-protected leave, and only if you work for a company with 50 or more employees and you've been there at least a year. Roughly half the private sector workforce doesn't even clear that bar. And protected just means they have to hold your job open. Your paycheck still stops the day you leave. Some states have stepped in where the federal government hasn't. 13 states plus Washington, D.C. now run their own paid family leave programs, funded through state payroll taxes, similar in spirit to how Elterngeld is funded here. California, for example, replaces a big chunk of income for around 8 weeks. But that leaves most of the country, including some of the biggest population states, with nothing beyond whatever an employer decides to offer out of goodwill. Your paid leave in America today depends less on federal law and more on your zip code. Here's where it gets interesting though, because this whole system in Germany is about to change, and not entirely in the direction you'd expect. In July 2026, Germany's family minister, Karin Prian, put forward a draft law that would cut the total length of parental allowance from 14 months down to 12, starting in November 2027 if it passes as written. But it's not a straight cut. The same reform raises the reserved time for fathers and partners from 2 months to 3, pushing men further into early caregiving even as the overall window shrinks. And for the first time since 2007, the minimum and maximum payment amounts are set to rise too. The floor from 300 to 330 euros, the ceiling from 1800 to 1900. The 175,000 euro income cutoff stays put. As of right now, this is still a draft moving through the German government. Not final law, so the exact numbers could still shift before it's actually passed. If there's one thing that gets complicated fast when you're an American living here and collecting a benefit like this, it's your taxes, because the IRS still wants a filing from you every year, no matter how long you've been gone, and now you're juggling 2 tax systems on top of a newborn. I'll drop a link below to the service I actually use to file both my US and German returns without losing a weekend to it. So back to Megan and Julia. Megan went back to her marketing job after 6 unpaid weeks, because that's what her savings could survive, burning vacation days she'd been saving for a trip that never happened. Julia is still home with her son as I write this, drawing roughly 1,200 euros a month, with 2 more months locked in for her partner whenever he's ready to take them, and no clock forcing her back to a desk before she's ready. Same salary, same title. A safety net that showed up automatically for one of them and simply didn't exist for the other. If you're navigating this yourself, here's what matters. 1. Apply as early as you can after the birth. It's not automatic and payments only reach back 3 months from your application date. 2. Talk to your partner now about who takes which reserved months, since unused months don't convert to cash, they just disappear. 3. If you're a higher earner near that income ceiling, run the math before the birth. 4. If you're an American filing from Germany, sort your taxes before leave starts, not during it. Untangling 2 countries' tax rules with a newborn in the room is exactly the stress you don't need. Elterngeld isn't free money, and it isn't perfect. It's a structured trade-off Germany chose to make, funded by everyone, adjusted every few years, and it's adjusting again right now. But when you put the real number next to America's real number 0, the gap is the whole story. That's the cost nobody puts on a postcard. If videos like this are useful to you, subscribe and come hang out in the comments. I read everyone.